Hey guys, welcome to the last video of this week. We're going to be talking all about angle relationships. Okay, so angle relationships. Please keep in mind that you do have that standards checkpoint 6 in USA test prep. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. When we're talking about angle relationships, the biggest thing that I need you to remember is all these different angle types. So when we have two angles that are next to each other and they form a straight line, these are called a linear pair because they make a line. If you have angles that are across from each other, these are called vertical angles. And remember, vertical angles are always equal to each other. So angle 1 would equal angle 2. Another type of angle we discussed earlier this year is complementary angles, where the two angles add up to 90. Another type of angle is called supplementary. And supplementary angles add up to 180. So these are some of your basic angle types, and they help build that transversal. So let's go ahead and look at the transversal that we did earlier this year. So remember, a transversal is two lines, and we have two, we're going to have two lines here, and the transversal come in and cuts those lines just like so. And when that happens, we have all sorts of angles that are created with different properties. Okay, so let's first talk about corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are those angles that jump over each other. So let me go ahead and highlight these. So corresponding would be 2 and 6. Okay. Corresponding would also be 1 and 5. Corresponding would also be 4 and 8. Corresponding would also be 3 and 7. So 3 and 7. So those are your corresponding angles. So corresponding would be angle 1 and angle 5, angle 3 and angle 7, angle 2 and angle 6, angle 4 and angle 8. The coolest thing about corresponding angles is that when the lines are parallel, your corresponding angles are equal. So that would mean if these lines were parallel, angle 2 would actually equal angle 6. So if this was 40 degrees, which we know let's do 140 degrees, angle 6 would have to be 140 degrees. Okay? So that's the first type of angle I want you guys to review. The next type of angle, let me just jump back here and grab this real quick. Oops. The next type of angle I want to talk about is alternate interior. Alternate interior angles. So when we have all these happy little angles, alternate interior are on opposite sides, but on the inside of those angles. So for instance, 4 and 5 and 3 and 6. So 4 and 5 and angle 3 and angle 6. Interior, because this is the interior, the inside of those lines. The cool thing is if the lines are parallel. So if these lines were parallel, then those angles are equal. Like angle 4 would actually equal angle 5. Angle 3 would actually equal angle 6, right? So let's take this, and now we're going to also include our alternate exterior. So now we're looking at the lines, we're looking at the angles on the outside, and they're on opposite sides. So 1 and 8 are alternate exterior, and 2 and 7 are alternate exterior. So you have angle 2 and angle 7, angle 1 and angle 8. That same rule applies. If the lines are parallel, then angle 1 equals angle 8, angle 2 equals angle 7, which is pretty cool. These rules, especially if something is parallel, really helps us cut our work down a lot. Okay, so let's keep all of that in mind, and let's think about this question here. Here. So it says in the diagram below, lines M and M are parallel. What is the relationship between angle 1 and angle 2? So I want you to come up. What do you think their relationship is? Are they going to be equal? Are they going to be 180? What's their relationship? How do you know? So their relationship is actually 180. Why that is? So if you think about it, angle 1 here, okay? If I created an alternate exterior, or sorry, alternate interior angle, I could create it right here, 3, right? Well, according to the fact that these are parallel, angle 1 would equal this angle 3. Well, if you look, angle 2 and angle 3 actually create a straight line. So by the property of substitution, I can actually say that if I added angle 2 and angle 1, since 1 and 3 are the same, that those would equal 180 together. All right. So these are called same side interior. Same side interior equal 180 degrees if and only if those lines are parallel. Okay, let's go ahead and look at some triangles here. I'm jumping around. So the triangle theorem states that the sum of the measures of the interior angles is 180. Okay, that's what I want to talk about. So we're going to kind of avoid the rest of this question, but inside of a triangle, angle A, angle B, and angle C all add up to 180. So if this was 20 and this was 60, what would angle C have to be? Well, we know that together they're 180, so 20 plus 60 plus angle C equals 180. So 80 plus angle C equals 180. So if we subtract that from both sides, angle C would have to be 100. Because if I add up all three, I have to be 180. And you guys will see different variations of this, lots of different variations of this, but that's the basic idea. That all of those angles add up to 180 degrees on the inside. All right, now let's talk about this exterior angle. Okay, I'm going to insert a different question here. So, what if I want to know an exterior angle? Okay, what if I want to know, if I could get a line here, how much this angle is on the outside? So we have triangle ABC, and I want to know the angle on the outside. Well, the angle on the outside is actually equal to the opposite two angles added together. So let's say they give us that angle A is 50 and angle B is 30. Well, in order to figure out what the outside is, I first must know what angle C is. And I can figure that out by looking at that last slide that we did. A whole triangle is 180. I subtract out 50 and I subtract out 30. So angle C is 100. So if I were to add these two opposite angles together, this outside angle is going to be 150 degrees. 150 degrees. Okay. Those are your basic triangle properties with angles. Please make sure you practice this. It is G.1.5 in USA Test Prep. I will hopefully see you guys the following week. Make sure you're practicing and have a fabulous weekend. Adios.